What cars would you never touch, even with a 30-foot bar? I'm renting a car right now, and they gave me a Camaro. It's an incredibly stupid car. The cabin is small, the visibility through the tiny, low windows is absolute shit. My head bumps the ceiling unless my butt is basically on the floor, which makes visibility even worse. Mind you, I like fast cars and I know how to drive them. But this car feels like it's all marketing and zero good design. Added also the automatic transmission randomly shifts into neutral for 2 seconds under circumstances I can't figure out, and if I'm holding the throttle, the engine will start to over-rev. I actually always thought the VW Beetle was a neat car and I grew up loving Herbie, but as an adult, I don't think I can ever own a Volkswagen due to their World War II record. Despite living in Henry Ford's hometown and even working in his museum, I also have mixed feelings about ever buying a Ford for similar reasons. Dodge Journey. My in-laws had two with that little 4-cylinder engine and were radically underpowered with that 2.4 liters engine. It was so underpowered that sometimes I struggled to get up to highway speed on the normal on-ramp. You need to jack it up and remove the front left wheel to get at the battery, and we pretty much had to tear the fender off to replace the water pump. Top it off with a 1,000-pound towing capacity for a compact SUV, and that car is just trash. Teslas. I do not trust that on a whim the CEO can just issue an update and block you, the owner of the car, from the software you used to have. That and its safety issues. All these reports on how Tesla silenced accident victims, what the workers go through. American cars, Ford, GM, Chevrolet. I'll stick to my Toyota. The old girl is over 10 years old and hasn't had any issues. Reliable, parts are cheap and plenty, great gas mileage. Any massive pickup truck that can't fit in a normal parking spot. My old Toyota Tundra has always done the trick for any hauling and landscaping I needed it for. Those oversized trucks are pointless and an inconvenience for everyone around him. Not to mention I've never seen one of them being used for any work, literally just in parking lots taking up 2 floor spaces at my grocery store or riding someone's bumper in the highway. Best trade I made 4 years ago was from a VW to a Tesla. VW every year at least 2 service appointments, first gear, then engine, both 1-2 weeks in service. Tesla so far only one time frozen O-ring when driving in 30 Celsius Switzerland. It was replaced in literally 15 minutes over an app appointment. Fuck you electric car haters, I bought second one and we're all super happy about our choice. It does not blow up randomly now. Well, my second Jeep Grand Cherokee caught fire, a few weeks after a customer of mine lost his to the flames. So I say that. Then again I did buy another later down the track, it didn't end well but at least it wasn't the barbecue. So yes, no more, maybe one more, when the wounds are a little more faded. I wouldn't touch another CVT Subaru again, that was an absolute nightmare. 3 months out of the warranty. Any supercar. Completely outside my needs, any ability to go 200 miles per hour is totally wasted on normal driving. I'm not skilled enough to handle a car like that, and the insurance payments would be absurd. Not to mention that any sort of collision with anything, especially another car, will be beyond most body shops to handle and way past anything I'd be comfortable paying. Also terrible gas mileage. Cybertruck, most BMWs, pickup trucks, and Kias. The last one is not BCI, I'm a snob, it's BCI Max Military, and I can't see Kia on my car every day. For those that don't know, Kia means killed in action in military terms. I lost a few buddies in the war, and I don't want to be reminded of that every time I get in my car. BMW 201311 drive, got it from the dealership 103k miles, told me no warranty over 100, cool, bought the third party, waste of money. With 5.0 mics, timing chain meant. Thank God it was fixable. Transmission issues now. Never will I touch another BMW. I'll get a cheap-ass used car, first one I ever financed and lost. The ones on the freeway. Like, I can imagine the mayhem and enjoy the image in my head, but I'd never actually just smack a car with a 30-foot pole while it's going 75 miles per hour on the freeway. I don't want to cause accidents for random strangers. I'm not even sure 30 feet is enough to reach them from the overpass. Camaro Firebird Trans, a friend of mine has one and I've ridden in it, and it's okay, but I never want to own one. They seem heavy and bloated and really cheap and plasticky on the inside. I've had cheap plasticky cars, and I enjoyed them, but GM just seemed to do a slightly shittier job on these. All of them. I just got my permit a month ago and driving is one of my biggest fears. I just drove a block today and then spent 15 minutes crying afterward. I've driven several times, none of them have felt anything but horrible. I hate driving so much, and I hate that it's mandatory to live. Any German car, any Italian car, anything made by Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, anything heavily modified, anything from a Go Auto dealership, and lastly, never buy a mechanic's old car. It's guaranteed to be a pos, but at least the mechanic will know exactly what's wrong with it. Lol. Understanding this is a what car is shit thread. Happy to see small amounts of cars that I own: Honda, BMW and GMC 1500. But to add, any BMW, Mercedes, Audi that's out of warranty, and any FCA car. Also, Ford. I fucking hate Ford. The 1500 is mildly okay. BMW, Audi, VW, Bentley, Volvo, Nissan, Acura, Jeep, probably some I'm forgetting, but those in their entirety. As a mechanic once professional, now just friends family, those makes produce the biggest pieces of shit I've ever worked on, at all times. Inexpensive Ferrari. Wanna turn a billionaire into a millionaire? Get him into yachting. Wanna make a millionaire broke? Get him into old Ferraris. The only thing more expensive than a new Ferrari is an old Ferrari with potential. As an auto enthusiast, any Mini Cooper, any Audi, Range Rover, BMW or Mercedes that's not under full warranty or lease, any car with a CVT transmission. You don't heed these words, you're in for a bad time. Any car that doesn't have CarPlay or Android Auto is immediately crossed off for me. Paying for another internet connection for streaming music in my car for an inferior service and UI is fucking stupid. Newer supercars, the required maintenance from the manufacturers tends to end up just as expensive, if not more expensive, than the car itself. If I wanted to pay for two cars, I would have bought two cars. Any SUV or crossover. A small pickup with a long bed and a minivan do all of what they can do better. Anything by Chrysler. A Trabant, okay, I drive one for a laugh, but would never own one. Anything foreign. Too expensive to begin with, parts are hard to find, and any maintenance is even more expensive. You can probably buy 4 cars for the price of any foreign car you loan. Kia Sportage. Parents bought one and it's just a basket of problems. It's the only vehicle I get car sick in, and after only a few years, it's having electrical and sensor issues. Anything Mopar, or Hyundai. Had a Hyundai and the engine went in 30k miles. Dealer said you put the miles on too quick, as if that should matter with regular maintenance. Anything Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, don't care. Dogshit interiors, mediocre engines and transmissions, and driven by the absolute worst people ever most of the time. Prius. It goes against everything I believe in. If there's only a single spot open in a parking lot, and on either side is a Prius, I'll go to a different store. Most American vehicles are literal garbage before they were built. There are very few other examples that are so consistently bad for such a long period of time. A Chevy Cruze LT. I bought it from a reputable dealer and 1 week later I had the check engine come on with a shop bill higher than what I owed on it. Hyundais, and I don't care if they've gotten better. I had a Sonata and the timing chain snapped 3 times before 75,000 miles. I'm good thanks. I've owned 2 Nissans. Murano and a Titan. The random ass issues that popped up were enough to persuade me to fucking hate them forever. My wife leased a Ford Edge, and it spent more time at the dealership being serviced than it did at my house. Also, fuck anything Tesla. Any Volvo model from years 2012, 2016. All of them burn oil fast AF. No reason to add in 5 quarts of oil and between 5k miles of oil changes. EVs. I wish RD was put more into finding cleaner batteries than converting every single model and brand to all electric fleets. BMW, man, that thing breaks for any reason, and water problems. The very older ones are better with that lovely leather smell. In the US? Anything European. Expensive to buy, expensive to maintain. Also, most things American except many Ford trucks. Anything American made, really. No taste whatsoever. Not saying I wouldn't drive one, but I'd be a fool to buy it. Buying anything other than a Honda or Toyota is a mistake. And even Honda and Toyota were better 20 years ago. Nissan Versa. The first few years were okay, but man, they started slapping the name on some real shit boxes. Cybertruck. I've seen a few driving around. I don't get the hype. It's the ugliest vehicle I've ever seen. Heard a lot about Range Rovers being horrible from people IRL, but haven't seen anything about it on here. Most things, a 30-foot bar is either really bendy or really heavy, and not that dedicated to the purpose. Any car that costs more than 20k. Waste of money, and I hardcore judge anyone who owns an expensive car. Hummer H2 H3, Ford Pinto, Chevy Astro, older Escalade, Dodge Neon, Pontiac Aztek, Lincoln Town Car. Most of them? I hate cars. I buy beaters and run them till they die, scrap them and on to the next one. Range Rovers. I love the looks of them, but I've heard nothing but bad stuff regarding reliability. Maybe a Pinto. You can even put that poll at 39.12 feet. Answer will still be a Pinto. Anything by BYD. They are cheaply made, are overpriced, and have a bad habit of fucking exploding. Anything from the Chrysler Corporation. They always seem to have cool features made out of clay. BMWs and Mercedes. People love to tout how luxury they are, but they are all just overpriced junk. Anything that doesn't have a driver dash or a HUD. One of them is fine, neither is unacceptable. Audi S3, 2016 or older. Didn't matter how much money I threw at it, broke down every few months. EVs. I am never touching them until they find a way to refuel them in less than 10 minutes. Any Jeep Wrangler built after 2006. Source: former 06LJ owner and current 21JLU owner. I'd avoid the one from RoboCop 2, 100. GM's upcoming vehicles without CarPlay and Android Auto. Fuck that decision. I'd have difficulty picking up a 30 feet bar, let alone touching someone with it. At this point probably a Tesla. It seems like those things are death traps. Any car that has been showcased on the television program Pimp My Ride. All them fancy cars that won't drive without a software update. No thanks. No one's mentioned Mazda yet. They're pretty dang solid for commuting. The one parked in the core of the Chernobyl nuclear generation plant.